Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be reacting to Japan's most dangerous YouTuber. Let's check it out.
This is Super Dominator, Japan's most dangerous YouTube channel.
Super Dominator. Whoa, whoa.
Dangerous YouTube channel.
Did they just freaking harass? I wasn't even allowed on YouTube.
The Super Dominator channel began as a vigilante project to hunt down criminals in the Tokyo area, but soon became—
Oh, never mind. I take it back. I mean, it makes sense now, bro, because imagine they're just attacking random people. I could not, But, hey, they're attacking, like, the bad people, so, hey. Then they leave some Batman work. Okay.
one of the fastest growing channels in the country that also ended up being surrounded by criminal investigations, controversies, and drama until the channel owner himself became a wanted criminal. The channel was started in February 2023 by Yu Sawada, better known online as Domi-san, and his mysterious, much more dangerous sidekick Riki, who ended up being much more than just the camera. Much more dangerous sidekick Riki, who ended up being much more than just the cameraman. To fully understand what this channel is exactly about and what made their content so controversial, let me introduce you to the world of Super Dominator. Most of their videos consist of them patrolling the streets of the greater Tokyo area looking for people breaking the law or acting suspiciously. Like in this case, where they notice a man following after two high school girls, walking weirdly close to them and trying to match their speed instead of overtaking them like you would normally do in a situation like this when someone is walking very slowly in front of you like the woman is doing on the right. He then changes his target to another two girls, and you can then see him pointing his back towards them in a suspicious manner. Voyeurs in Japan are known to hide cameras inside their bags or even make secret holes through their bags to film through, which is why someone doing something like this is a dead giveaway that they're up to no good.
Bro, first of all, why do people, bro, yo, Japan is crazy. Well, I always hear stuff like this when they try to take pictures of like schoolgirls, like they try to take pictures with under their skirts or like their legs, but I'm like, bro, there's no way, bro. You cannot be this down bad that you do some crazy stuff like this, hiding that camera and stuff.
Then catch the guy in order to do a private citizen arrest, something that is legal in Japan as long as you catch the criminal in the act. Most of the time, through great effort, they're able to chase the criminal, bring them to the police, and get them arrested. However, you'll soon see that not all of their captures were successful, as later on, one of their citizen arrests ended with someone nearly losing their life.
Shit. Damn, bro.
In this one, they've caught a young guy secretly filming girls with his phone in the Shibuya area, who then, almost accidentally, drops his phone he was filming with into the sewer, but Riki behind the camera is able to catch it before that happens. But once he puts the phone down in front of the guy, they realize too late that it might have not been accidental. The moment they let their guard down, the guy lunges towards his phone and throws it in the sewer in hopes to get rid of the incriminating evidence.
Oh, damn. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that play is actually smart, but you lose a phone, bro.
Sawada wrestles with the guy until the police arrive, while people are gawking at the scene around them. When the police get there, they explain the situation to them, while the guy who just threw his phone to the sewer on camera pretends to have no idea what they're talking about, keeps saying he's innocent, and whatever is down on the sewer is not his, not realizing things are about to take a turn for him. Riki explains to the police where he saw the guy drop it, but due to the dirty water, they really aren't able to see anything down there. All the while the suspect still keeps claiming that there's no way his phone is there. When the police are finally able to fish the phone, the suspect still keeps insisting it belongs to someone else. However, with iPhones being water resistant, the phone seems to be still fine, and once they turn the phone towards the suspect—
Yo, is this an iPhone ad? Damn.
The Face ID recognizes him and unlocks it.
GG's. GG's. He thought he was doing 100 IQ.
If you've been following my channel, you might notice that what these guys are doing is very similar to what Ren Nakajima was doing with his Guts channel that we talked about recently. Both the Super Dominator and Guts channels consisted of the guys catching criminals, mostly voyeurs, in the Tokyo area for YouTube content. But while Ren Nakajima was eventually arrested for his YouTube activities, Super Dominator burned from the inside, with the internal drama escalating so far that the channel's own frontman Sawada ended up getting chased on camera himself himself, but
What?
we're not there just yet.
Yo,
The
drama.
biggest difference between the channels, however, seemed to be that where Nakajima mostly wrestled with guys on the street, seemingly without much evidence, thus being unable to actually prove their guiltiness and get them arrested, Sawada and Riki on the other hand were quite successful in catching criminals on the act, which is why most of their videos end up with their targets actually getting charged. Like here, when Riki was successfully able to catch a guy taking upskirt photos at Yokohama station and hold him still until the station staff arrived to calm the situation.
俺逃げないから絶対逃げない。こいつ逃げます。
Once they finally catch the guy and the police arrives, they're able to compare the photos in his phone to where and how they were supposedly taken, which confirms that it was indeed him who took the photos and allows them to book him. In the Ren Nakajima video, I was careful not to praise him too much, as I'm not the biggest fan of vigilante justice, especially when it's done by an ex-yakuza in order to become rich and famous. Though that was mostly because I felt like his videos lacked concrete proof that the guys who he wrestled with were actually guilty of something. The videos made by Sawada and Riki though seem to be mostly legitimate, since even though they don't always show the people in the act, the way the suspects run away and act suspiciously already kinda prove that whatever they did, it most likely wasn't legal, and on top of that, many times it seems like the police are able to find at least some evidence against them once they're taken in. There are, however, many people online who question
Bro,
the videos.
People in Japan really this down bad, bro. Like they're actually, bro. I see this shit. Look. I see this shit in anime, and I don't really think it's like real, but it's actual. Like damn, bro. Like it reminds me of the Feeble. If you haven't seen the Feeble, check it out. So goated ass anime.
Legitimacy, and knowing these types of guys, I wouldn't be surprised if at least some of them were fake on some level, but also
the reason I made that comparison because in the Feeble, there's this one dude who like the main character like works at this like freaking like he sucks at drawing, but they like his drawing whatever, so he works at this like thing. He doesn't really get paid that much, but one of the dudes, his coworkers, is a weirdo, bro. Like he legit goes inside the apartment of the other coworker who he has feelings for or he has a crush on, which is a female, and bro, he goes inside her apartment. I don't know how he got the keys, but I think he like stole it or something. He goes inside the apartment and he hides, installs like hidden cameras all over her. Bro, that shit was crazy.
I am quite confident that many of the guys they catch are actual
Like,
real
he installed
creeps.
cameras all over her apartment, bro. It's some weird shit, bro.
Like for example, this old guy, who Riki caught in a store with a, once again, suspicious looking bag. He then stops the guy and asks him to show him the bag, but as per usual, the suspect simply keeps trying to get away while saying that he hasn't done anything. Riki keeps telling the guy to stop so they can have a conversation, and while this is happening, you can very clearly see that there is some kind of suspicious hole in the wine bag the man is holding. The man then says that this can be sold with money, which Riki refuses, and instead asks some guys around to call 911. While Riki is asking the bypasser for help, and once he is not paying any attention, you can see that the suspect does something weird in this moment. Two men who were close by then come for help and confiscate the wine bag from the man. Since the hole in the bag is taped so that it doesn't break anymore, it is very obvious that the bag didn't accidentally break, but that the hole was made on purpose. Inside, they find some type of weird contraption, and now that the suspect is 100% busted, he starts panicking and begging for mercy, insisting that he has a life he doesn't want to get ruined. The extremely polite
the cameraman needs to be faster than that, bro.
escape plan didn't seem to work
Almost
out,
missed the
and
whole
after a long
thing.
struggle, the three of them are finally able to bring the man inside and call for the police. However, when the police arrive and they check through his gear, surprisingly, the earlier contraption doesn't actually have a camera inside there. Together with the police, they go and check where they just came from, and around the area where the man was acting suspiciously before, they're able to find an SD card in a sewer.
Shit.
They have no idea where the camera ended up though, and when they try asking the suspect where he threw it, he refuses to cooperate. They go back once more, and the police officer who stayed behind and searched the area was able to find a USB stick type spy camera from nearby. And with all the evidence gathered, and with the help of couple bypassers, Riki was able to get the guy arrested.
Damn.
Now, you might notice that I keep mentioning Ricky's name a lot, and I don't have much to say about Savada, who was supposed to be the frontman and the face of the channel. And here's where the drama begins. Despite Savada being the supposed frontman of the channel who received most of the praise online, it was Ricky, the cameraman, who was actually the real powerhouse catching most of the perverts. In fact, out of the first 70 suspects caught, only 3 were actually tackled and subdued by Savada. Most of the time, Savada simply arrived late to pose for the camera after Ricky already had done majority of the work.
Damn, that's when the real drama starts happening, bro. Damn.
This meant that while Savada received public credit and praise as the dark hero of Japan, it was actually Ricky who was performing the bulk of the dangerous on-the-spot citizen arrests. Even when Savada did appear on camera catching people, his methods often caused significant controversy and put others at risk. Since as Super Dominator's popularity escalated in late 2023, Savada's on-camera tactics became more intense as he was frequently seen sprinting after suspects through crowded stations and wrestling them to the ground, trying to look good on camera. And due to actions like these, the biggest on-camera controversy happened in October 21st, 2023, when a bystander got injured by Savada during filming.
Why are you getting close, bro?
They tried to hide it away using a mosaic, but when Savada tackled the guy, an old woman who was behind them was knocked over, hitting her head on the floor. You can then see people coming over to help her while Savada keeps wrestling with the guy. A crowd gathered fast, and it seemed like Ricky was being at least somewhat responsible as he kept asking people around to call for an ambulance. Eventually, the police and paramedics arrive to make sure the woman is okay and take the suspect in. Not only did Ricky and Savada receive immediate backlash from the people around them when the situation happened, but also online, almost everyone criticized the way they handled the situation, saying that even though catching molesters is a commendable feat, doing it for YouTube fame while injuring people around them is simply going too far. And on some level, I think I can agree with that, since unlike the nice young girl who immediately rushed to help the old lady out of the goodness of her heart, I don't think the Super Dominator channel would exist if they didn't make money out of this. The incident, however, was only the beginning, as the drama surrounding Savada was about—
That's the thing, bro. You know, I know they're posting it on YouTube and stuff, and people say, yeah, they're doing it, but the thing is, they need money. Like, you need money, bro. So it's kind of like, that kind of argument is like, bro, you need money. Like, what else should they do for a living to make money if they're continually making videos? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
to spiral out of control. After the controversy, Savada laid low for a while. During this time, Ricky took over the channel, doing most of the private citizen arrests alone, which meant that not much was different compared to when he was still working with Savada. But just because he was working alone didn't mean that there weren't people around to help him. Like in this case, where he had seen a guy take secret photos of 2 girls in a store, the girls then also tell that the guy was groping them inside the crowd, after which Ricky goes inside the store to get the guy to come outside.
damn, that boy's zooming.
A random bypasser who saw what was happening came to help Ricky, and together they cornered the guy.
How do you escape that?
Luckily, even though the suspect was able to get away, the bypasser seemed to be incredibly fast and was able to catch up on them and stop the suspect. Ricky then thanks the bypasser for his help, to which he simply replies that it's no big deal. The bypasser then goes his way, while Ricky takes the suspect back to the girls to force him to apologize. The girls then thank Ricky for his work, and he says that he couldn't have done it alone, but he was lucky enough to have someone help him. He then makes the suspect to admit to his crimes and apologize, which the suspect does, at least in my ear, very insincerely, most likely to only buy time in order to do this.
Oh, he escapes again. Yeah, how do you not have your hands, bro? How do you let him escape twice, bro? Twice. Bro, you need to have your hand on the fucking his jacket. Bro, you let him off twice. Damn, he's about to get hit by a car.
The suspect then tries bribing the girls off with $60, which they rightfully laugh off.
ごめん。お金でも払うからごめんなさい。本当にごめんなさい。1万円払う。ごめん。笑われてごめんなさい。バカじゃねえのって。何が逃げんだって。
Ricky then takes the guy to a nearby police box, but since no one is there at the moment, he calls 911 so someone can come and pick the guy up, during which the suspect goes for the Hail Mary.
Again, bro? Bro, you let the dude off 3 times, bro. Bro, at this point, have a leash on him, bro. He escaped 3 times. 3 times you let this man escape.
本当に嫌なんですよ。お前すごいな。本当に嫌なんですよ。もう MVP だよお前は。
Since third time wasn't the charm, the suspect finally gives up and admits to what he did to the police, who seems to be the most pissed about what the kid did. While Savada was laying low, Ricky was able to grow the channel quite a bit all by himself. Multiple times a week, he uploaded videos just like this, where he was able to catch young men, old men, and even men dressed as women taking creep shots in Tokyo. The sheer number of these videos coming out made people question.
Bro, there's no way you're that down bad, bro. You even dress, you go to the lengths to even dress as a woman too? Bro.
Their legitimacy, and even I myself had to admit that the number of creep Super Dominator was able to catch is truly mind-boggling. However, just when things seemed to be going good for the channel, the biggest bombshell was about to drop. On January 11th, 2024, Savada was arrested for a fraud he had committed a couple of years prior. During the time, he had lied to his former girlfriend that he had a serious incurable autoimmune illness called adult Still's disease. He had then told his girlfriend that he needed around 30 million yen for the treatment, which is around $200,000, and under these false pretenses, yen for the treatment, which is around $200,000.
$200,000?
And under these false pretenses, he was able over time to scam 2.5 million yen from his girlfriend. The news made headlines on the internet as people found it highly ironic that a supposed crime fighter was arrested for a fraud himself. By the time police caught Savada, he had already used the money for what he called personal pleasure and fun, a story he later on tried to change due to the backlash, claiming that he had actually not spent the money on himself, but for an event at the bar he was running, which most people didn't buy. Savada was, however, released after 3 weeks in custody without indictment, since he had reached a civil settlement with the former girlfriend, repaying her and securing her willingness to drop the charges. This was, however, just the beginning of Savada's frauds, as he had also borrowed 8.5 million yen from Ricky. Savada had pretended that he needed investment capital for a business license, so they could start a bar together. But just in 2 months, he had spent all the 8.5 million yen, which is around $60,000, to building connections, meaning he had blown the money in hostess clubs. Together with other vigilante YouTubers Kenzo and Ren Nakajima, Ricky confronted Savada about the debt, which ended up in a heated discussion where Ricky mostly stayed silent as Savada came up with every excuse he could about the missing money and tried his best to slither away from the situation. Ricky, however, knowing that he would not be able to get his money back if he cut ties now, formed a deal with Savada where he would pay him back with monthly payments of 150,000 yen, and they would continue YouTube together so that Savada could make money to afford these payments. The repayment plan also included an immediate payment of 1 million yen back to Ricky as a goodwill promise, which Savada was able to do by borrowing the money from his current girlfriend. Savada clearly wasn't
Yo, this man Savada does not learn, bro. He keeps borrowing money, never to give it back, bro.
a trustworthy partner to Ricky or any of his girlfriends, but at this point, Ricky had no other option but to work with him in order to get his money back. A decision he would later on regret. Despite the huge drama, Ricky and Savada continued working with the Super Dominator channel together, uploading multiple videos a week, hoping to slowly win back the hearts of their fans. But the relationship between the two of them had obviously gotten much worse and was about to get even worse.
He's very slow, not gonna lie. Like, okay, now he's zooming.
The guy they caught seemed to be a businessman of sorts, as he immediately started talking about how he's going to contact a lawyer from his company.
Huh. Oh shit!
After the controversy, when
Damn.
people saw these new videos from the Super Dominator channel, even though they were glad to see the perverts being stopped, they were getting very critical towards Savada for how he handled these situations, since to them it seemed like he had learned nothing from the time he hurt the old lady only a couple of months earlier. The two of them then tell the businessman not to touch his phone so he can't delete the photos he had just taken, but he goes and tries frantically calling a lawyer. While the businessman asks for help from his lawyer, as he is, in his own words, completely innocent, Ricky calls the police so they can come and help them. Once the police arrive, they assess the situation and ask questions from the businessman. Ricky tells the police to not let the guy touch his phone so he can't delete any evidence out of it, and unsurprisingly, once the police ask the businessman to show his phone so he can prove his innocence, he instead insists on calling his lawyer. The police tell the man that if he really is innocent, he could just show his phone so he could go back home, but no matter how much they ask, the man resists to cooperate. And at this point, it is blatantly obvious to everyone involved that the man is clearly guilty. But since the businessman won't play ball, they have no option but to handcuff him and wait for his lawyer to come. However, despite Savada's attempt to clear his name and make a comeback with constant uploads like this, the audience itself refused to get back on his side, constantly asking Ricky in the comment section to ditch Savada and continue the channel by himself, something that he couldn't do even if he wanted to, as Savada still owed him tens of thousands of dollars. Over time, there were multiple apology videos by Savada, each one with different explanations to his actions, but none of them really had the most important part a video like this needs, a sincere apology and a genuine sense of regret. In the videos, his tone was often defensive, and he spent most of the time complaining about the media reports being inaccurate, constantly talking about how he wasn't even fully convicted, skipping over the fact that even though he wasn't convicted, he had defrauded his ex-girlfriend. In June 2024, Savada appeared in Reiva no Tora, a popular YouTube reality show often described as a Japanese version of Shark Tank. In the show, his pitch for his business idea to expand his brand was a paid service called Totsugeki Dominator, which can be translated to Attack Dominator. This Totsugeki Dominator was a service where his team would for a fee confront and resolve various situations for the clients, ranging from catching scammers and fraudsters, or even confronting cheating spouses. Some of the sharks, or tigers in this show's case, were somewhat impressed of Savada's resolve, as he said that he was fully aware of the risks that would come with a business like this, and would adjust his methods to use minimal force in order to catch the targets. However, even though the tigers reacted positively and even agreed to invest into his business, the audience reaction was overwhelmingly negative, as many criticized the show for platforming Savada, but even more importantly, many reminded that it is absolutely ridiculous someone who was just caught defrauding multiple people would start a business catching other people exactly.
Bro, there's no way they invested money in him, bro. If they already hear stuff about him borrowing money and freaking committed fraud on his girlfriend or whatever, bro, seeing like $60,000, bro, there's no way they invested in him, bro. Surely not.
Like him. Even though there was this constant backlash against Savada, Super Dominator as a channel was still doing relatively well because people still liked the other half, Ricky. But just because the channel was still going strong, it didn't mean the future would be bright, as the biggest drama was only about to begin. Around September 2024, Savada started acting strangely. The bar he was running in Tokyo started mysteriously to be closed, seemingly without a reason, and the sales plummeted not only due to this, but also because it had been hard to count sales, as Savada had taken the bar's bookkeeping iPad to his house. Ricky started to lose track where Savada was each day, which was worrying to him, as the 15th was coming up, the date he was supposed to get his monthly loan repayment back from Savada. On September 17th, 2 days after the deadline for the payment, Ricky announced on Twitter that Savada had not paid him and had gone missing. On top of this, 350,000 yen had been stolen from Savada's bar's register, meaning that more than likely he had taken the money and ran. A confirmation to this came shortly after, when Ricky noticed that Savada had stealthily withdrawn around $400 from their shared TikTok account, indicating that he was trying to grab whatever money he could and hide. After 2 weeks of Savada being on the run, the bar owner who had hired him, feeling bad for Ricky, decided to step in and track Savada. And now, the hunter had become the hunted. The bar owner orchestrated a sting operation to capture him by using a female acquaintance.
Bro, this is like straight up out of a movie, bro. Like, this is a like reality drama show, bro, but it's like actually real life. It's crazy.
From the bar as a bait to arrange a meeting with Savada at a love hotel, where they would wait for him to step into the hotel room, after which they would then barge in and capture him. Soon, the police arrived at the scene to try and make sense of what was happening, while Ricky kept asking Sawada, isn't he embarrassed at all that things had to turn this way? It was obvious that Ricky felt extremely betrayed, as he had from the beginning helped Sawada with the YouTube channel, and even promised to keep working with him after he was caught stealing money from him. Sawada stayed silent through most of this, while Ricky said that he doesn't even have the energy. He said that he doesn't even have the energy to be angry anymore. After the scene outside, Sawada was taken to the bar, where he confessed to his crimes, and the bar owner, who had let him take care of the bar, fired him on the spot, saying that if others wanted, he would file criminal charges against him for stealing money from the cash register. After the incident, Sawada disappeared entirely from the public, deleting his social media and retiring in disgrace. Today, his whereabouts are unknown, rumors suggesting he left Tokyo to avoid backlash. With Sawada gone, Ricky took full control of the channel, renaming it to Super Dominator Ricky. To this day, he keeps uploading almost daily and updating how much Sawada still owes him, which is around 4 million yen as of making this video. In the beginning, Ricky was simply thought out to be a mysterious cameraman, but today he's one of the most famous and only remaining citizen arrest YouTubers.
Hey, comment down below what you guys like, what you didn't like, and what you want me to react to next. I'll catch you on the next one. As always, stay safe out there. Peace.